In this video, I'm going to show you how I achieved this dark purple tie-dye with using a natural product called Logwood. You'll need a white sweater or a shirt, an old pot, a sifter, alum powder, logwood chips, rubber gloves, rubber bands, scissors, measuring spoons, and a measuring tape. For this project, I chose to tie-dye a white cotton sweater. You can choose to tie-dye any white fabric that you would like, just make sure that it is a natural fiber like cotton, linen, bamboo, silk, or wool. To get started, take an old pot that you won't use again for food and pour in your logwood chips. I use 25 grams or 1/3 of a cup. Next, pour in some boiling water, just enough to cover the logwood chips, and leave it to rest overnight. You want it to really soak in and get a really strong color. Once it's rested overnight, fill the pot with more water. I wanted a strong color, so I only added about 4 to 5 cups, but you can add as much or as little as you would like. Next, put the pot on the stove and bring it to a boil and simmer for about an hour. This will help create a stronger color. Take the pot off of the stove and drain and sift the logwood chips from the dye into another pot or bowl. Then put the dye back into the pot and on the stove on low heat. If you'd like, you can dry out the chips on a paper towel to reuse for another project. Now take your sweater or t-shirt or whatever fabric that you're going to tie-dye and soak it in some water. Now we're going to create the mordant bath. A mordant helps to bind the dye to the fabric and seal it in, and the mordant that we're using is alum powder. So in a small bowl, mix 2 tablespoons of alum powder with boiling water. You only need a little bit of water to cover the alum powder and then just stir it together until the powder dissolves. I'd recommend wearing some rubber gloves during this process and really at any point of handling the dye. Then add the alum mixture to a pot or bowl of lukewarm water, enough water to have the sweater soak in, which is around 8 to 10 cups. I'd also use a bowl or a pot that you're not going to use food with again. Soak the sweater in the alum mordant bath for about 5 to 10 minutes. Next, wring out the sweater, leave the mordant on it, don't rinse it off. Then lay the sweater on the table, scrunch and secure it with rubber bands, and put it in whatever pattern you would like for tie-dyeing. Because the mordant is still in the sweater or the fabric, make sure that you are using a surface that you can clean really thoroughly afterwards. As an additional side note, I would also recommend that if you're doing this whole process, make sure that you do it in a space that has good windows and a lot of ventilation. Next, turn off the stove and then add the tied sweater or fabric to the dye bath. Depending on how much dye you have, flip to cover both sides and repeat this process for about an hour or until you achieve the desired color. Then fill the sink with water. You can add some salt if you'd like, acts as like a little extra mordant. Then rinse the dye off the sweater until the water runs clear. It took me a little while to do this, so however long it takes, just keep rinsing and leave the rubber bands on so that it doesn't bleed. If you'd like, you can store the excess dye and logwood chips in a container for another project. Now for the fun part, remove your rubber bands and see what your creation looks like. I wasn't expecting this dark of a purple, but I guess you could achieve a lighter color if you just didn't leave it in as long as I did. But I'm going with it. I like it, it's bold, and it's a nice color. All that's left is to just wash it on a full cycle and hang it to dry or throw it in your dryer. Here's what it looks like once dried. So I actually wanted to take it one step further and crop the bottom, which is optional if you're doing a sweater. So if you are, cut off the bottom ribbing of the sweater first so that you can lay the sweater flat, then measure and cut for your desired length. I really love the final result. The color is super bold and the best part is it's all natural. If you like this video and want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching!